active door or active leaf is what this definition is. SDI states, in a pair of doors, the door or doors in which the latching device is installed. Absolutely. So in a pair of doors, there's always going to be one that's active, one that will be considered the primary, and one that's considered inactive, or sometimes the term primary I've heard used, the primary door. I never heard the term secondary used to infer the inactive. But one will always be paramount, and the other will be, tantamount. One will come first, one will come second. Unless, of course, you have a pair of doors that have latching on both doors, like surface vertical rod exit devices on both doors. Both of those doors would be considered active because they both have latching hardware according to the SDI definition. But there's always going to be a door that you're going to classify as active because in the instance where you would want to have it clearly indicated which door, you'll have active door, you'll give the hand of the door, let's say right hand reverse or left hand reverse, and then you'll have a list of things that you'll do to that door. For instance, in a pair of doors that are surface vertical rod, you might have a vision frame in the active door. Even though both are active, because they both have surface vertical rod exit devices, you would call out that right-hand reverse as the active door, and then you'd indicate that that's going to get a vision frame. So in the instance where you have latching hardware on both doors, one will still be called the active. And what that active door is, left-hand reverse, right-hand reverse, left-hand or right-hand, is simply determined by code, the architect, the specifier, the owner, however that's, traffic pattern. But the term active door, if we exclude out this concept of latching hardware, is the term that we're going to apply to the door that's used more than the other door, substantially more often. A typical application would be, of course, in a commercial setting, it would be just a pair of doors, and you have a lock set. You've got a latch protector. It's an in-swing door. That door is a right hand from the outside. It hinges around the right and it swings in, and you're standing on the exterior. That would be just a right-hand active. That tells us a lot of things. Once you declare the active leaf in the pair and you look at the hardware set, you'll start to be able to fill in, well, this goes to the active door and this goes to the inactive door from the hardware perspective, meaning the cylindrical lock will go to the active door and the flush bolts will go to the inactive door. If you have a commercial application, you might have a left-hand reverse active door where there's an exit device, a rim exit device on that door. And on the inactive door, the right-hand reverse, they've put manual flush bolts and a surface strike. So it's helpful to be able to simply declare which door is active. So that does thoroughly eliminate the possibility of a misunderstanding about what is expected from each leaf. It gets a little more complicated in the sense that your hardware is going to be dependent on what is the active door. And equally importantly, what's the inactive door? And the example that comes to mind is an open back strike. You've got a pair of doors. One is going to have a mortise exit device, and the other will have a surface vertical rod exit device. Let's say you've got a left-hand reverse active, and that's going to get the mortise exit device on it. But that inactive leaf, and that's a left-hand reverse, and that inactive leaf has that surface vertical rod. Knowing how to declare which is the active door is important because it will define the hardware that's selected, because that open back strike, those are made right-hand reverse or left-hand reverse. They can be, left and right too. But you would need to specify that hardware based on what's the active door. So knowing the active door, when both doors can technically operate independently, so they're both active, is crucial because it will help define the hardware, not only in this open back strike scenario, but when astragals come into play. There are different astragals that exist. And I've seen, I'm not going to say that I've seen every astragal, but, I think I've seen every astragal. And I've seen people apply them in mind-boggling ways. You've got an astragal that can be a flat bar astragal. It's just a piece of steel, 1/8 inch thick, 1.5 inch wide, the length of the door. You've got that same concept with an offset in it. And the offset is a different sort of astragal that can be used In a single door application, that offset will account for the inset of the door from the face of the frame to the face of the door. But that offset bar is used when you have a U-channel on the inactive door. So you can have a two-piece astragal, U-channel, and then you need the offset. Or you can have a Z-shaped, or what Kiwani used to call an H conversion astragal. Or you can be prepping directly to the edge of the door, and then you'd only need possibly a flat bar astragal on the active door. Having said all of that, you can apply those astragals in different ways. This way, exterior, outside. And I have gotten to the point when I'm indicating to manufacturers an astragal, I will send them a drawing showing the actual or showing either the actual opening or defining on a piece of paper. Image shows left hand active. You know, I've got a right hand active or whatever it is. This is the logic I want you to use. It becomes extremely crucial to define that active leaf, even in instances where they both can operate. Technically, you know, an inactive door will swing. To define the active door, because all of the hardware hangs off of that. Your open back strike, but really in a complicated fashion, the concept of astragals. I think if you're brand new in the industry, it might be a concept that could be that will take time to grasp. Experience will teach you which astragals to use, how they're applied, why you apply them. And I've received material from factories that the person who was detailing that didn't understand industry standards by which astragals are applied, or the handing may have been the problem. So defining all of that, but understanding all of that is pretty crucial. So I don't think I've forgotten anything about active doors or active leaves, and if there are any questions on that, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.